Hey everyone, so I really enjoyed making my last video on how to play Viper on Corrode, so I thought I'd just do a different one on another map that she's meta on and that I have a lot of lineups for. So this is going to be the Bind edition. I'm going to show different Molly lineups, different Orb lineups, and different walls you can use for both defense and offense. If you liked the video, I recommend liking and subscribing. I will be posting more of these for different maps that Viper is meta on, or just different agents in general. Now, if you do go ahead and play Viper on Bind, I do recommend playing B on defense for two main reasons. The first of which is the Viper wall. If you walk under this corner here, you're going to see this like diagonal line of this like bench here. If you aim in the middle and right above it, and you deploy the wall, it's going to go through the teleporter. And when it's up, it'll smoke off hookah and long perfectly, but it'll also leave you 3 gaps to play in here with like shorties, like stingers, judges. These two here are perfect for that. And then this one here, if you have a rifle, it's actually perfect because it's such a much bigger gap. You can actually pop out and get like 2 to 3 picks pretty easily. And also, when you come to the teleporter, it allows you to teleport as you rotate and only have to worry about one side, not the other side, because it's going to be smoked off for you. The other benefit of this showers wall here is it's going to allow your teammates at the start of the round to fight showers with the cover of the Viper wall. The other main reason I recommend playing B is for the Viper Orb. If you walk over here, and you aim about right here on this like line right here, and you line up this part of your Molly sort of UI, line that up right there, and you jump through your orb, it's gonna land on the box in short. And this will give your teammates a pretty solid one-way, so they can play sort of in lamps, and as you can see, they can see pretty deep into lamps, but opponents, they can't see anything. So this setup that I've shown for B sort of allows you to smoke off 3 of the choke points, which is really helpful if your teammates are playing, say, Brimstone, as you're only going to have 3 smokes, so it allows them to use their smokes more strategically. Okay, and for plant denial mollies from B to A, I'm going to show you 2 different ones, both from the same corner. So for A bath, sort of by the triple box, you can come into this corner, and you're going to see this like extra piece here that doesn't look like it belongs. So just where this piece meets the top, you can just line up your crosshair there and just normal throw. And this will land on this box, and it will completely cover the triple box plant and any plants along in front of this side. For a molly that stops the truck plant or the normal plant, you can come to the exact same corner, and you're going to see this building here. And right in this corner here, you're going to line up your like left click to throw icon, the top corner of it. You're going to line it up right there, and you're going to launch it from there. Now this one does take a while to land, so you have to make sure that you throw it earlier than you think you should, and this will just cover the whole plant in front of the truck. Although I do normally recommend playing B as Viper on Bind, you can definitely play A still, and there are a lot of strong pieces of util you can use. If you want to emulate the wall that you would throw on B, you can walk into this corner, aim pretty high up on the wall, and aim about there. This wall will cover long and hookah pretty much perfectly and almost in the exact same way as the TP wall, just not exactly the same. It still leaves the long gap here, but it does not leave this other gap here. If you want another wall that'll also cover hookah and long, but it also will cover short pretty well, you can use like more of a gimmicky wall here. Just come into this corner and aim at this B right here. And when you deploy the wall, it'll come through the teleporter. It'll cover short, however, it doesn't cover it perfectly, as you can still see over this box, but it does cover the sightlines of all the defenders, for the defenders down here. If you come over to hookah, it'll also cover hookah, however, it will leave about half of hookah uncovered, so you have to make sure you have a defender in here, at least holding the wall. And it'll do the same thing for long. It'll leave some space, however, it will just cover the choke point very well. And this is actually the only way that I would recommend smoking off all 4 choke points if that's something you want to do. Especially if you have to play solo smokes on this map. This is probably your best option. 2 good Viper Orbs you can use is you can come over onto this box here, and then aim sort of in the middle of this wooden plank. And then you're going to see this like bump out here, and just under throw it. And when this orb is active, it'll give a perfect one-way for defenders. As you can see when you're in showers, you literally cannot see anything. But defenders holding from here can see pretty deep into long. But if you're holding from here, you can also see pretty deep into showers. Another orb you can use, and this is the one way that pretty much everyone uses everywhere, is you can walk into this corner here and just jump up and left click throw. This will it's basically the same one way that brims use and omens use. The purpose is that you cannot walk up onto this box or walk past here without, being seen by the defenders. And it's also a slight one way here. So the Viper wall I throw pretty much 100% of the time is I'll walk over to this cactus right here. I'm going to aim my crosser up. I'm going to throw it about right there. So the main strength of Viper on this map is lurking up through A while your teammate goes B, or other way around. You can have your teammates sort of slow walk up through the setup, or just fast exec with this setup. So this Viper wall, what's going to do is it's going to cut off all info from the site, and it's going to allow you to lurk sort of up through lamps. And once again, something I throw almost 100% of the time, you can pair it with this orb right here. So you're going to see your fuel bar, and you're going to line up the bottom right corner of the fuel bar right there, and just throw a jump throw after the barriers go down. Make sure you throw it after the barriers go down. This orb will land right here, and it'll smoke off lamps. So this setup combined will sort of just freely allow you to walk up into lamps, up into short, and once you're about here, you can either choose to drop your orb and continue lurking through lamps, or you could drop your wall and start to lurk onto the site and take more and more space. Okay, so there's two other Viper walls that I can recommend for A. The first one is not someone I think I personally like, but I want to show you more different playstyles you can use on this map. And this is a wall that I've seen professional players use and people in my ranked games as well. So if you walk over here and throw a wall into this corner like this, it's going to block info from any defenders from lamps and back sight. And also, for your showers attacker, it's going to smoke off Heaven pretty dang well. The issues with this wall for me is that it's very easily jump spottable from Heaven back in this corner here. You can sort of jump spot out and see people out front sight. It gives defenders so much backside space and a ton of space in long, or sorry, in short. However, this is a pretty solid lurk wall, as you can cross through this gap here pretty quickly and get out into an area over here. Just make sure you watch the jump spot from Heaven. The other wall that I can recommend, if your main goal is to cover off lamps and CT, or you're playing solo smokes, you can walk into the same exact corner, and you can aim your wall more like that. When this wall is up, it's going to cover all of lamps and give you a lot more space to work with. And same with backside. It's going to allow you to take all of this space here. And if you have like a raise or someone to get up into Heaven, they can also use this end part of the wall to hold all this Heaven space. It's a better wall than the other one I showed you for solo smokes, but it's not as good as a lurk wall as the other two. Personally, the only reason that I would throw my wall towards B is if I have to play solo smokes, but it's still good to know how to throw a wall towards B just in that situation. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to use this orb lineup to cover elbow. So you're going to see this corner of the painting here, and you're just going to line up this part of your Molly UI right there. Pull out your orb, and you're just going to throw a perfect jump throw. Then, next thing you're going to do is you're going to line up your wall sort of on this line and a little to the left. Right there is about perfect.
Toxins going up.
And when these abilities are up, this is going to cover elbow off perfectly, and it's going to give you a pretty solid wall for cutting the site in half. Of course, you don't really want to play solo smokes, but you can also just use this orb lineup in general, and to take some pressure off your Brimstone or your Omen or whatever other controller you're playing. Or you could just use this orb in post-plant to allow you to save another smoke for U-Haul. If you want a really good orb lineup for Heaven on A, you can walk over here into this corner on Bath, hop into this corner, aim right there, and jump throw. When this orb is down and active, it's going to cover Heaven off pretty much perfectly. So this is exactly what you're looking for, especially if you can pair it with one of the walls from earlier. This is actually a pretty solid solo smokes setup. The only issue is when you're using both your wall and orb in tandem, your util is only going to be up for about 8 seconds, which is not great for solo smokes. So honestly, sometimes you're just going to have to pick between the two if your team is not that fast and execing onto a site. For Viper Molly lineups towards A, I'm going to throw you guys 3 different ones. So the first one, this one's going to land a little bit quicker than the other one. This one is for the truck plant. You're going to see this like ventilator on this old generator here. And you're going to line up the top of your sort of throw icon right there. You're just going to launch the Molly. So this one does take a little bit of time to land, but it is faster than the other one. So you can throw this one more with the tap. The other one you can use for the exact same spot. So you can walk into this corner right here. You're going to tuck yourself all the way in, and you're going to see the top of this thing right here. You're going to aim slightly to the right just to avoid hitting it, and jump throw. This molly will take much longer to land, so you can sort of swing with the molly from short, but it'll cover the entire thing perfectly, and this one can give you a little bit more strategical impact. If you want to molly towards a bath, walk into this corner. You're going to see this tree leaf right here. Aim up and to the left, sort of diagonal, and just launch the molly. When this molly lands, it's going to land about right here, and it's going to cover all of the bath plants. For my lineups towards B, I'm going to show you guys two different ones. If you walk towards this corner here and sort of line yourself up with this part of the teleporter, and you're going to see this part here sticking out, you're going to aim right here, slightly to the right, and you're just going to jump throw. This molly's going to take a while to land, so you have to make sure that you're aware of that. But it's going to land right here, and it's going to cover all of the plants in this default corner. Another way you can use from the default corner that's in a much safer spot, you can walk over here. Now you're going to look over on this wall here, and you're going to notice this sort of pill bottle looking thing. So you're just going to aim at that. So you look at that pill bottle. It looks exactly where that pill bottle is. You're going to aim that part of your UI up right there, and just normal throw your molly. This molly is from a much safer spot, but it takes about the same amount of time to land, so you can just remember that. And it's going to cover basically the exact same plants. And that's sort of it for my Viper tutorial on Bind. A couple things I'd like to say once again: make sure you do not play this map solo smokes as Viper. You're really going to have some struggles. Your Toxin just does not really last long enough. Another point I'd make is make sure you practice most of these lineups. Some of these are very difficult. Some of these you will miss a lot, so I'd make sure you practice them. Some of the ones that you have to absolutely know is this one from here towards B short. I'd also recommend knowing all of the Viper walls that I showed you. This one here, both the ones on A. I think those are all really important to know. I also want to make sure you have a great day, and just look out for another video from me.